GLP-1s are magic. Well, they may not be magic, but they help build consistency, improve metabolism, and they have been magic for me. Real magic is the ability to be consistent. It is the ability to lose weight, to regulate your appetite, stick to a diet plan, to be able to be normal, to eat normally, to live with a normal metabolism just like everybody else. Hi, this is Elisa. This is Food Noise Beyond. Thanks so much for joining. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment. I drop episodes every Saturday on YouTube and Sunday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And this is just my personal experience. If you have questions or concerns for your health about your healthcare, please reach out to your healthcare providers. Thanks so much for joining me. GLP-1 for me has been all about building consistency. I have been on Zepbound for 1 year. It's so exciting to say that I am 90 pounds down since I started from my heaviest weight and 84 pounds down since starting the medication last February of 2025. I've talked before about my origin story of how I came to Zepbound and really everything that led me to this spot. I hope I can share my story with everyone and really demystify the magic. The magic is consistency. The magic is the space that the GLP-1 gives me. The magic is that it normalizes everything in my biology and my mind so that I can be healthy. That's the goal. I'm going to talk and really recap about what it was like from the beginning. I mentioned before that starting out on the medication, it was the first couple weeks, but I stuck with it. I stayed on a really low dose because that's what was right for me. And I was able to really lose 2 pounds a week for the first 5 or 6 months. It was about the 40 pound range, right around 30 pounds that I believed that this was going to be different, that it was more than 20 or 30 pounds that I was losing, that I could be consistent, that I could reset my goal from just being sub 200. I thought where I am now was my goal when I started. Now, after hitting the first 30-ish pounds, I reset my goal to what was within normal BMI. Normal BMI for me at 5'6" is 154 pounds. I set my goal at 150. It is a target, it's not an absolute. If I get to a good body fat percentage and I like where I am and it feels like goal and I'm 160 pounds, that's where I'll stop. 160 pounds was my high school weight. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is where my body decides it wants to be. But there are no boundaries now. I am compositionally different where I am currently than I was the last time I was in the 190s. So we are just going to continue on. Like I said, it was around 30 pounds down late last spring where I first could see the changes. I often would see the change in profile visually. It's where sizes started shifting. I started at a size 20. I cannot believe I was in a size 20. I think in any other decade, it would have been like a 24, 26, but it was a current day size 20. I quickly got down to like a large 16 or an 18 by late spring, and I started seeing that profile difference here in a white t-shirt. Then I was like, oh, something's changing here. Not only did I reset my goal to 150 from sub 200, but I was like, things are changing. And I'd made sure every week since I started the medication, I took progress pictures, which is basically what I do on Instagram. I check in. I maybe post a few other things. I post stories about my progress. Post stories or I reshare other reels and stories. I post news articles, but mostly it's about the weekly progress check-ins. Those are my primary thing. Lately, I've been posting a lot of videos at the gym, walking, doing the things. I recalibrated all of my highlights on my Instagram from every week. That was like a weekly highlight to basically I grouped it in like weekly check-ins, doing things, news, NSVs, all of that, kind of reset things about a year into my weight loss journey, but not quite a year into the GLP, which is what we're going into now. So I thought it made sense on this channel to talk about being on Zepbound for a year and being 84 pounds down, 90 from my heaviest weight, and that the magic is what it allows you to do. So it's not magic, but it lets you get to something that feels magical. It feels magical that can be consistent, that I can be steady, that I cannot be freaked out about a weight plateau. That feels magical. And before, you want something to make you lose weight fast. That's no longer the goal. The goal is to be more metabolically healthy, be stronger, be feel better, be healthier. That's really the goal. And I think that's the mindset shift that consistency has allowed while being on this medication. So being comfortable with slow, boring consistency, that's the real win and the actual magic that we're talking about here. It's what I really experienced as well. Getting to that 50-pound mark, that was a previous goal that I'd wanted to lose 50 pounds. I thought that was a significant amount of weight to lose. And I hit that by my high school reunion. And that was kind of like, it felt really good to achieve that by a point where you're going to meet people you hadn't seen in a while and you're getting into a significant amount of weight loss. Not goal, but it was just like this small interim, like achievable, never having achieved that much weight loss before. It felt really good. I felt good. I had a cute outfit. I'll say that a lot. Like to be cute, not skinny. Want to be strong, want to be cute. That's kind of where we're headed. Um, Another kind of, I mentioned it before, but something's really helped me is that weekly meeting with weight loss coach who's a nutritionist and helps me with like exercise plan and mindset and habits. That weekly check-in has just really been part of my journey, and it's something I do usually before or after I post my weekly check-in on Instagram. The Instagram is me being publicly accountable. The weekly check-in with my weight loss coach is me being personally accountable. It's it's slightly different, and they're both extremely supportive. But I think both have been a big part of my progress. Having that public accountability where I'm like saying, this is where I am. I'm still going. I'm making progress. This is what things look like. And then actually having someone that's like reviewing all the data with me and helping keep me on target, focused, consistent, adding in new habits. That has been a huge part of this journey for me. And it started before I started the GLP-1, but it is like, it's like peas and carrots with the GLP-1. I think having someone you can, I don't, whether it's community, whether it's a friend, whether it's your doctor, having some support, whatever that support that you need, that is really helpful. So another thing is I ordered some lab work. A lot of labs you can just sign up, and I was like, I want a weight loss panel. And I should have done it when I started. I should have worked with my doctor to order the labs, but I found it about 4 or 5 months in. I ordered a set of like metabolic labs just to see where they are. It'd been about 8 months since I'd last had labs with my doctor. So I just wanted to see where we were. It was a little before my first DEXA scan. And I had one lab that concerned me. Immediately sent those labs off to my GP because a doctor understands labs so much better than I just see something that says not normal. So I worked with them. They weren't really worried. We just monitored, retested. It was fine. There was nothing related to the GLP, but I do really think it's important you talk about your levels. If I can recommend anything, talk to your doctor when you first start medication, get baseline. If you can get a DEXA scan, get as much as you can baseline, because then you know where you're going and kind of what all the data means going forward. It's just less, I think it's good to know where you're starting. It's kind of like any like testing or anything that you're doing, getting a baseline is something that I would recommend, but of course, defer to your doctor. So after I had that lab, I did switch telehealth providers. I thought it was really important to find a medically centered telehealth, not one that was focused on compound medication. I'm on name brand. I wanted doctors that want like FDA, want to prescribe FDA approved medication. That's what that's how I chose that's how I chose my healthcare provider, who is obesity specialist. It's Vineyard or joinvineyard.com. I mentioned them in my original video. They're always listed in my show notes. They are obesity specialists. They prescribe GLP-1s. They also support adjacent concerns. They're a telehealth. It's, I think, just a great organization. I really respect the people that run it. I recommend, and I felt, because I was concerned, I had a lot of other adjacent health concerns, that I wanted to make sure I was choosing an obesity specialist for my obesity care. That is how I landed with them, and I'm really happy. They are super reachable. 10 out of 10 recommend. So I shifted to them. I was about 40 pounds down when I did that. I've been with them ever since. They helped me decide to increase just after Thanksgiving from 2.5 to 5. So I lost a ton of weight, like 60, 70, 80 pounds on the 2.5, increased to 5, got down to where I am now. I'm staying steady. It quieted the food noise that it needed to. And I continue just to check in. I probably check in with the doctors every few months, even if we're just staying and not making any changes. And I check in with the dietitian on Vineyard about quarterly, just to be like, how are we doing? Are my macros about right? It's kind of just something I truth against. I work with my weight loss coach, who's a nutritionist, dietitian. A registered dietitian's a little different, more scientific, more healthcare provider adjacent. I like just getting all the different perspectives. You can use ChatGPT or Google to understand the difference between the two. I find all of the support really helpful. So the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. And again, medical supervision, specialty obesity care is my priority. And I also discuss my continue monitoring all my labs with my GP. So that's, you know, all the doctors that you can ask for there. I mentioned before that visual progress, specifically profile, is really where you can see I carried a lot of weight, probably visceral fat in my torso, and it's that side profile picture that you can really see, whether it's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds. You can really see the difference through that. I started in the summer because I thought it would be better I wanted to see more clearly about the time I got the first DEXA scan, what my actual body shape was, so I could really monitor progress. So I started wearing more workout tights and close fitting clothes to really monitor that. It's funny because I had a similar picture about a couple weeks before I started the medication that is extremely revealing and a little vulnerable. I use that a lot as my before picture because you can really see it. It's just where I'm wearing a tank top and underwear, and you can absolutely see close fitting. So it's nice that as I started progressing and actually got into significant weight loss, I was able to see clearly the changes in my body, and it's just nice to be able to see that progress. I think initially I did just wore my normal clothes, and that's fine. It's just I will probably wear those similar outfits for kind of that before and after comparison year over year as we progress, now that we've hit the year milestone. So I'll do some of that, what I was wearing. Then the t-shirts are just really big. I'll probably have to pinch them or clip them so you can see the difference. But we'll be doing that coming up in following weeks. If you follow me on Instagram, I do my weekly check-ins. I think as you start to have significant weight loss, you want to see the progress. And I think you are more comfortable in more body conscious clothing. Now I love wearing workout tights. I wear workout tights all the time. Sometimes I probably will be in future videos in workout tights. I'm actually still in my work clothes right now. So there's that. But yeah, that's, that's just something it's something I would not have thought I would have been into, workout tights and tight fitting tops and tights wearing all the time, but I will be putting them on right after I take this video when I go go off to the gym. So definitely something that's changed and been different. And it's so weird how grounding this GLP medication helps everything. I'm going to the gym, something that I never thought I'd be a gym girl, but I guess I'm a gym girl now. So the GLP has just given me the space to be consistent, to add all the habits. I laugh all the time when I hear that people are like, the GLP ones are the easy way out, or they just make it easy so you don't have to do all the things. Well, the GLP is what's allowing me to do all the things. So I will 100% stand behind that. And that's what it has allowed me. So, and I value total health. And that's why I'm taking the medicine, so that I can pursue overall health. And going to the gym is one of those things for me. Another thing that's really interesting is sizes. And when you start out, it took me a long time before I even went down from size 20 to size 18. And then summer, I was still size 16. So it felt like I was barely moving in sizes for like the first 6 months. And then the last 6 months, it seems like things have been, I mean, it's only been a few sizes. I'm down to about size 12. I think I'm going to fit into my first pair of size 10s in the next month. I'm wearing 14s that are loose, but things are definitely like increasing in speed. Like my waist in just a couple months has gone down three inches, which is faster than previously. It was about an inch a month or even a half inch. It's been going. I started measuring it on my handy dandy little digital measuring tape, like midsummer. Keeping those measurements is just helpful from an overall statistic perspective, as opposed to just scale weight. So DEXAs for body composition, measurements, and obviously just sizes of your clothes. Clothes that as I size out of them, I've just been getting rid of and sending to donation. No reason to keep them. We're not going to gain the weight back. LP gives me that confidence that we're not going to gain the weight back. So yeah, as you go down sizes, my weight loss coach says it's kind of like a toilet paper, or not a paper towel roll. You don't notice the first few layers, but as you get down towards the center, the size reduces really quick. So I think that's an interesting analogy, and I think I very much am feeling that right now. I feel like every couple weeks something's loose. Something that was tight a month ago is like hanging off me now, or I have to donate it. So it's one of those really weird things that it feels like my entire wardrobe that I've hung on to certain types of clothes for 20 years, I'm going to be having to completely shed all the stuff I've held on to and do a full wardrobe. I've been slowly getting rid of the really large clothes, but pretty soon all the stuff I've held on to in the size like maybe like 14, 16, that's all going to go. We're going to have to just clear the whole wardrobe. It's I don't have anything from before I was that size. So maybe I have like high school uniform and like maybe my wedding dress I'll keep and my prom dress from high school, but I don't have very many things that are smaller than 14 in my wardrobe. So I guess yay, get to go shopping. Um, there's that. So another thing besides sizes, we all want to look cute, and it's kind of fun to buy premium denim, which by the way, I may have ordered one pair, not goal, but the next size down, like my first ever pair of like premium denim. So that I'll talk about that later, but that is one kind of fun thing, things that I never would have been able to get into the size of. They just didn't fit me. Whether it's Seven for All Mankind or True Religion, those just weren't brands I had access to at the size I was for the last 30 years. So it's kind of fun. We'll likely, when we get to goal weight, we'll invest a little more. I'm getting kind of mid-range jeans, not super cheap, but just like mid-range as I'm going through. I wear to work, and we'll get some nicer stuff as we get towards goal weight and in maintenance. Another big thing is movement is so much easier. A huge victory on vacation. I talked about before going to Hawaii. It's so much easier not having to carry around an extra 90 pounds, 84 pounds, obviously on the GLP. So much easier not to have to carry around all that extra weight. So that's one thing that you just cannot minimize that. The GLP has given you ability. Some people complain about, oh, people just want to shrink. No, they just want to get healthy and they want to feel good in their body and they want to be able to move around easier and not have the aches and pains, reduce inflammation. That's what we're excited about. It's not that we just want to shrink and be smaller. Being smaller, being stronger, definitely want to be stronger. But yeah, I want to be smaller than I was. I'm not ashamed of that. It's okay. It was not comfortable to be that size. I don't need to elaborate on that. That's just my reality. Yeah. So, along with the size, being more comfortable at this size, I can move around easier. I don't plop down on a chair. I can cross my legs on an airplane. I can cross my legs in the car. That is priceless. And the GLP-1 has allowed me the time, space, and successful weight loss journey to be able to achieve that, making everything, just having more energy to do the things, making movement easier. I can use the camera that we're shooting this video with, and I can shoot a show, and it's just so much easier to move around now. There's just it's uncomparable being able to. I feel like I'm 20 years younger. It's crazy. I'm definitely feel like I'm on the back half of this journey. I know things are slowing down. The weight loss has gone from 2 pounds a week to about a pound a week at this point, sometimes less. It may take me another year to lose the last 45 pounds. We're doing a lot of body recomposition. I feed all of my stats into ChatGPT and it tells me you're in a significant body recomp phase. We'll find out next month when we get our next DEXA scan. But that's definitely something we're seeing. I feel like I mentioned before, my waist size is definitely adjusting. My bras are getting big. I currently have all my bras they have like detachable straps. I'm crossing them to make them last a little longer, but I'm going to at some point have to get new bras. Um, it's just it's interesting in this back half as shape changes. I don't think I'm the same shape as I was the last time I was this size. I posted some pictures on Instagram of like the last time I was in the 190s. I'm shaped differently. I think I have better body composition than I had that when I was in my 20s. I'm definitely in more shape, in better shape. I wasn't going to the gym like I'm going to the gym now. So I think just compositionally we're significantly different. And thanks Ozempic. I mean, I don't take Ozempic, I take Zepbound, but it's like the Kleenex of GLP-1s. I kind of call it that. So, as we come into this back half, I think consistency will be a huge key to being able, just being, the GLP-1 allows me to be patient and with the consistency, even when there isn't changes, even when it feels like a stall or feels like the scale's super noisy. The consistency in the space and it's just quiet. You can just keep doing what you're doing. That's what maintenance is going to be. It's just keep going. It's going to be feel like one long stall, right, when you're in maintenance because you don't need to lose any more weight. So I'm looking forward to that. Another really interesting bit of this has been finding community, not just on social media, either whether it's YouTube, Instagram, but there's communities that spring up. Like, I belong to the GLP-1 Girl Code. Nikki started that. I'll link that in the show notes. It's a really nice small group of women that we meet on Sundays, and it's like a support group. There's various other communities. Some are, off of the social media. There's Substacks. There's all sorts of ways that you can find your people. And I definitely recommend, whether, again, I meet weekly with a weight loss coach, I belong to this one community, the support community, find your place, find your people, I follow a ton of people on Instagram. I will do a episode later, probably about my favorite social media accounts, my favorite news providers in this space. It's just a really interesting community aspect to this. And I think that everybody gets a lot of support from each other. It feels like a very supportive community, even as it feels like a lot of people are coming for them. Like there's this weird competition across the health space, but the community itself, I think there's a lot of support. There's different factions for sure. There's the folks that are really into compound and are trying selling compound. That's not really my space. I'm just in it for kind of all the knowledge and sharing the knowledge and the experience. That's kind of where I'm coming from. But it's interesting. I'm kind of interested in the whole thing. I'm interested in kind of debunking myths. I'm interested in, embracing the facts and the science and really talking to people about their experiences and just reading about their experiences and listening to their experiences. I recently did a podcast, the Weight Medicine podcast with Emma. Recommend. She's awesome. She has a lot of great conversations with experts, with other people that have gone through that are in their weight loss journeys like myself. So I will link that in the show notes as well. Yeah, so many like interesting things when it comes to community. Definitely find your space in it, even if it's just observing. I'm a big observer. I like to lurk and read and listen and occasionally maybe drop a comment, and it's all fine. You figure out what works for you. And then recently, obviously, I launched this channel. I keep my Instagram for the weekly check-ins and kind of it's that kind of personal file of weight loss like content that I'm just like personal accountability. This is really where I'm sharing my experience and want to kind of talk about various topics, maybe rant here and there or go deep, maybe have some conversations. It's long form. I used to blog, now this is more vlog style. So that's why I decided late last year I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do it starting on my weight loss anniversary, which is my birthday. And then right now, episode 4 is my GLP-1 anniversary. So here we are, and hopefully we'll just keep doing this once a week. And then looking forward, the next year I expect to be losing the, 45 pounds, continue getting to a steady state, getting to maintenance. I hope if we're talking next year that I am in maintenance, that I've achieved whatever that end goal is, whether it's 150, 160, 140, wherever that end point is, and can kind of say, keep talking about things and figure about what normal looks like at the end. It's not the end, it's kind of like the beginning of the rest of our lives. And, again, thanks Ozempic, or thanks Zepbound, thanks Eli Lilly, for kind of allowing this next, phase of our lives, phase of my life, and getting to the other side. I can't believe we're a year in, and I'm here for it. You know, I hope that there continues to be great medical innovations in this space. I don't know if I will remain on this exact medication forever. We'll be talking about that with my doctors. So, anyway, until next week, we'll figure out what we're talking about next week. I might do a week in the life. I've been thinking about what next week looks like, but I will definitely be continuing to kind of report out and chat about what interests me, what's coming up next. Anyway, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and we will talk next week. Thank you.